We're back for the second half. I'm very sad that my bid was not accepted. I had some idea that perhaps it was too low. Should have gone with 3 knights. James, what do you got?
So as we cut back, we actually start with Nero outside the Emporium as the second bidder is sort of escorted out along with his and his stash of cash. And he looks at Nero and says, "How much just for the chest?"
I mean, Nero pretends to ignore this guy. Actually, he doesn't pretend, he just ignores this guy.
Okay. Well,
The chest has value. Well, then he turns and says, the chest has value beyond anything you can pay.
5,000 thrones.
I'm good. Keep walking.
All right, he leaves.
I really want some sandwiches.
I want to know what was in the chest.
What's in the box?
Who, you, James? You know what's in the chest. It's my chest of guns. And it's got a pile of my bounty throne gelt in it.
Oh, okay, that's just okay. No worries.
That's what's in the choice left chest. Nero the Blade. There's. But it sounds good, doesn't it? It sounds very mysterious.
That's it. Yeah, that's why the guy's willing to bid for it. Okay. So back inside, more and more people are throwing out bids, and everyone just keeps getting knocked back by the intercessor. Most of the early bids are all just financial values. They keep going up and up and up. It takes a long while before people start to realize that cash isn't going to win this one. And the room is starting to clear out too as more people get evicted, and it's getting down to who you think will be, some serious bidders. The first successful bid you hear is an older gentleman who you recognize as Lord Admiral Bastille, a rogue trader, stands up and says, "I bid the coordinates of the legendary 13th station of passage." And there is a few sort of murmurs from the intercessor as he works on his device and comes out and says, "Accepted." So, looking pleased himself, Bastille, sort of dusts off his coat and goes to stand with the rest of his retinue waiting for the end. The next bid that comes is from Aoife Armengard, who stands up and bids the hereditary rank of Colonel-in-Chief of the 37th Vaccinide Militia. Rejected. She looks sort of crestfallen and is escorted out. Caligos Winterscale bids next. I bid the outer reaches of the Linead Belt. Rejected. He is escorted out. A merchant, not or maybe more like a crime lord, probably above the sort of rank that Nero could have got his hands on last night, bids a 10% stake in the fortunes of Clan Haskari, but is rejected. Cut in, by the way, if you want to bid at any point in time. Let me know.
Pondo, did you see my message in that game?
Yes, I saw it. I don't know how to whisper in Roll20.
Use /W space name space message.
Okay.
I just so I'm gonna hand the Vambrace to Pierre, and then I am gonna stand up, or Cyrus is gonna stand up and make bid. 2,000 vet-grown children, grown to whatever purpose you desire, from the forge world of Ryza.
There's some consideration, and then rejected.
I'll sit back down.
Well, people come over to escort you out.
Oh, okay, that's fine. But I've already gave the Vambrace to Pierre.
Yep.
No worries. So Nero outside a little while later, after you see a couple of rogue traders leave, you see Cyrax come out. Well,
yeah, I don't say anything. I just, I've got the cart ready to go.
Yeah, I'll come over to the curtain, but yeah.
Do I have to bid something, or can I?
No.
Okay.
I have the authority to act on behalf of my forge world, so I just made something up essentially.
Yeah, no, certainly within your authority to do so. They just didn't want it.
That's fine.
I would like to bid.
Yes.
I have a Vambrace of a Silver Skulls Space Marine chapter.
This motherfucker just shouted out his heresy.
Accepted.
Yep, that's my boy. It's fine. I can give him the authority to do that. Technically.
So so you guys can stand now and watch the remainder of the bids. So Haderach Fell bids the third moon of Lugnum and is accepted. Madame Charlebel bids a Demonet's Toenail as accepted.
Toenail.
Sun Lee bids a vial of 5-century-old triple distilled essence of brainleaf and is accepted.
Fucking witches,
Feckwood,
man.
bids 10,000 blinded slaves and is accepted. A priest bids the long-lost thigh bone of Saint Arani and is rejected. Abel Guerra bids the Palace of Moonlight and is accepted. A merchant bids 30,000 saber wolf pelts and is rejected. Jenko Scourge bids the service of the Brotherhood of Shadow and is accepted. Sarah Grimald bids the Micus Fife on Quadus and is rejected. Jean-Quin Saul bids the wreck of the battle cruiser Heart of Majesty and is rejected. And finally, Jeremiah Blitz bids the mummified remains of the priest king Jantak the Immortal and is accepted. And that is the 9th bid accepted. So at the end, the intercessor is carted out again by the hoist, and a perfunctory comes over. I take it you can make your payment now, Lord Captain?
Yes. He will, when they receive the bid, I will hand over the vambrace.
Very well. Your payment is as follows. The foretelling will take place in 2 hours' time, and he hands you like a data slate. This is the location. You may bring yourself plus 3 others, no more.
How convenient he can bring exactly 3 other people.
Excellent. That's extremely convenient.
That means you can't bring NPCs. Might be useful.
True.
Or I could leave one of the NPCs.
So the map seems to indicate towards like a disused part of Footfall.
Someone was asking if service skulls count. I mean, it's not an NPC. It's part of me technically.
So, assuming at some point later on, you guys leave the building, and certainly Nero, you see the road trader come out bereft of vambrace.
Yeah, I mean, look, Nero is pissed and disappointed, but this is the man whose contract says he works for.
Would he even know, though? Because as far as he was aware, I had it, and then he left before I gave it to the captain to...
That's true. It was concealed in your body cavity.
Okay.
But, and the mind link's still going, so I assume after you got the bid, right, you would have told us.
Actually, sorry, I should have mentioned this too. Once you entered the Emporium, the mind link cut out.
Oh, okay. Like, that's good to know.
So, and Garth would have been able to tell there was something suppressing psychic powers within the Emporium.
Yeah. I guess to be expected. It seems like
keep them from keep people from sussing other people out, screwing with people making bids, or influencing the bid itself.
Yeah. It's fairly. I mean, it's not surprising at all, really.
I'm irritated by it, but it's not unexpected.
How inconvenient.
Well, it means you were functionally blind in there as well. You were fully blind in there.
Oh, yeah, that would suck.
I'm just sitting there. Shit.
Well, Captain Cowles, I trust that Charbellan's bid went well.
Hers did, yes.
Alright, Nero starts up the car. I assume I'm returning to the estate then?
No.
No?
I made a bid myself. And it was accepted.
There's a slow head turn as he says, indeed.
We have directions to where to go that we need to be.
No, Garth is not still left inside. I mean, I'm assuming one of us. I'll have kept a mechadendrite on his shoulder to help steer him.
Well, you were sent out. I was still in there, so
okay. Well, I mean, I guess
like hand on Pierre's shoulder.
Oh, yeah, or go with Pierre. That works too.
I mean, Nero starts driving. There's a sort of dark, insane malice in his eyes. in the process, as he doesn't ask, but he suspects he knows what was bid, given the fact that no one's talking about it.
Yeah. Well, and also the fact that I made a bid, I made a bid that was something else entirely.
That's a shame. I should have attempted to convince Miss Arch-Militant to hand over that demon toe now.
You know, someone offered me 5,000 thrown gelt for my twice-locked chest.
Isn't that the chest that you keep your firearms in?
Yes. It would easily have been more than enough money to cover it, but again, I have my basic needs met as long as I am remaining part of this contractual agreement.
Plus, once you find a good weapon, you become attached to it.
I like to think that it's a mutual attachment between the machine spirit and myself.
A good weapon is like an extra limb. As he says to someone with extra limbs. Well, more or less extra limbs. That's what, at least in some of the books, that's what tech priests describe him as, is a mechadendrite. Once you're well integrated with it, it does feel like having an extra limb. It's the same feeling. Can we see this look of disappointment on?
Yeah, I mean, just a reminder, he is still under the insanity curse of being extremely paranoid right now. So on top of his normal level of, I can't believe I suspect you sold a holy artifact that doesn't belong to you, there's also the, anyone could murder us at any time.
Yeah. What troubles you, Nero? You appear angry, disappointed. Was it because I did not take your bid of sandwiches?
My bid failing was of little concern to me. Where is the vambrace?
It is on my person at the moment. Or did I give that up?
No, you gave it up.
You gave it up. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you lying to me then?
Never
Certainly
mind.
that's something you could attempt to do. I mean,
I offered it as a bid.
yes, I thought as much.
I sensed, or my gut told me that it would cause me to get in trouble. Sure.
It is fine. It is entirely within our purview to do so. As the representative of the Adeptus Mechanicus for your fleet, your ship, whatever, I give you authority to trade such things.
And that is fine and good. But I suspect that the Space Marine chapter and the Inquisition both will have something to say about this. And they don't care what the AdMech has to say.
I actually suspect the Inquisition will have nothing to say on that matter.
I'm sure that I can trade something to the Silver Skulls chapter to make up for the loss of a small piece of a suit of power armor.
Can I trust in your word here that you will do such in a timely manner?
Let's see. I'm trying to think. No, yeah, Ultramar's in the Ultima segment. No, I'm just trying to think how close Ultramar. Let's see, Ultramar, because all the successor chapters, most of the Ultramarines are in the Ultima segmentum, I believe.
I think we've learned that these guys are passing through this area.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as like the chapter themselves, like their homeworld is where it is, because they might already actually being supplied by Ryza.
What was the name of the gentleman who essentially gave me the vambrace?
That person's name was Altar Solicat, Soothsayer Football.
No.
Atar Solicat.
Soothsayer. So he's like the head guy, isn't he?
No, you've never heard that name before.
Oh, well. Soothsayer of Footfall sounds like he's the big head honcho.
I mean, we've met the big head honcho. His name is
Morris.
Yeah, Moron. Yeah, exactly.
Varsavia.
I am concerned, Lord Captain, whether you or not you and the aforementioned Adeptus Mechanicus can smooth this over with the Space Marine chapter. The Inquisition might have something to say about offering this object publicly with you shouting it into a crowd.
When it comes to that, I will see what I can do to smooth things over.
I think when it comes to that, I will see what I can do to smooth your path forward. But I'm afraid that I'm not particularly inclined for the blood of the ecclesiarchy to be on my hands.
You're also assuming that the Inquisition did not have an agent of their own in that room bidding something?
No, I suspect that the agents of the Inquisition know exactly what you just bid.
I suspect they will not care.
I believe you place an excess of reverence for a single piece of power armor.
If the Inquisition wish to speak to me about said matter, they'll speak to me on their own time. They'll seek me out when they feel they need to seek me out, either soon or weeks upon down the line, weeks or years, however they feel.
Yes.
Cyrax says, I'm sure things can be worked out. And he pauses for a second to think, feel like you're exaggerating the danger quite a bit.
Nero's hands grip the steering wheel tighter, and he says, I assure you that I am not exaggerating the danger. I am not leaping at shadows here. I am a professional. There are things that I do not understand. All of you here deal with things that are above my level of competence. But I understand danger and murder, and what actions were undertaken here tonight were both dangerous and could incur the wrath of the murderous.
Nero, may I ask, how did you know that the Van Brace belonged to the Silver Skulls?
As I mentioned before, I had briefly viewed it on board the Hand of Calixis immediately before I was dismissed from the service of the ship.
I feel as though me keeping that until I see a Silver Skull would lead me to start asking questions that I don't need to ask.
As I mentioned, I believe you could have left it in the care of Sister Miriam, or simply left it here on the estate with a message to the Inquisition or a Silver Skull agent to pick it up. I'm not here to question your decision, Lord Captain. I'm simply pointing out the danger that you have placed yourself in.
I believe I put myself in danger allowing you to kill all the people the other night.
I did that on my own. I very clearly, absolutely clearly declared that I had done that on my own, and I seem to remember my finger being the only one on the trigger.
Yes, but you work under me, meaning that I have some responsibility for you, and I did give you the word that you can do what you wish. Therefore, it will roll back onto me at some point or another.
I assure you, Lord Captain, I will deal with the consequences of that particular situation, should some arise. I suspect that the dogs of Footfell know that there are new masters about. Those who have been replaced should remember who allowed them to take their new positions.
I'm gonna put Mechadendrite on the Nero's shoulder. Don't worry, I will make sure to send a message to repay the Silver Skulls chapter with a gift of plasma weaponry.
Very well. I mean, Nero is still mad and disappointed, but
It's fine.
he's neither capable of hiding it, nor is there anything he can do about it, so he just continues to drive.
Yeah, no, it's like, I don't know where, I think Versavia is, no, yeah, okay, it is. It's not too far from Ryza, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, so I'll make sure, if I forget, somebody remind me next time I go to send a message to send them a gift from the plant from Ryza and
New
repayment.
Van Brace.
I was gonna say, why don't you just have Garth write it down right now?
Yeah, or whatever.
Send them a new Van Brace.
Well, we'll send them. I mean, Ryza's whole thing is it's plasma. It's like plasma technology, like weapons and reactors and shit. So we'll send them something in repayment. So we're probably already sending them stuff, but I'll make sure that we send them something extra.
Send a little extra.
Yeah,
I mean, hey, here's a repulsor executioner that fell off the truck.
What? Yeah, that was the thing that hasn't been invented yet. Because I'm pretty sure, James, correct me if I'm wrong, I have the same authority as far as Mechanica stuff goes that Pierre does, I believe, For
Yeah, you're a Magos level equivalent.
yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. All right. Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
So you follow these directions. They lead down into the bowels of Footfall's main dome. Down here, it looks like this is an older part of Footfall that was previously built on top of, basically, and sort of the additional weight of the domes on top of sort of crushed most of it down. So it's like narrow hallways between collapsed buildings. Some sort of squat structures that are still left over that have just the ground floor of the original building remaining. It's slums down here. There are people living in the streets. There are certainly, Nero, with your heightened state of paranoia, your immediate thought is this place is perfect for ambushing, or it's lots of narrow sight lines, dank corridors, darkness, flickering lumen globes. The whole place sort of stinks of human despair and filth. But following the directions exactly, you come upon what looks like it may have been some sort of jail or similar sort of custodial location that's been mostly collapsed by the construction above. There is a main doorway which is like a heavy oak door, which is guarded by a group of 4. It's a minimum, so it's 3 men and a woman. They all have shaved heads, and they're wearing like a carapace armor which is painted a sort of a slightly off-white. So they do stand out among the gloom here. Almost from some of the lumens, they almost fluoresce their armor. And each of them are carrying a staff topped with a copper ball around which there is wiring run, like almost like not like a Faraday cage, just bits of copper wire and stuff around
like a Tesla coil.
What I recognize
Like
these
a
as
Tesla,
would I recognize these as electro staves? Like
yeah,
the,
some sort of
electric
homemade equivalent. Like they're attached.
Yeah.
The wires are attached to a power pack on their belt.
Yeah, but it's
So
the same thing functionally, kind of like the
That's
electro cruiser. Okay.
Yes.
I'll
Garth,
make sure I let them know what those do. It's just they're stun weapons essentially.
Garth, give me a Sinitians roll at +10.
Very well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's
So
how you do
Really
it.
need-
Ladies and gentlemen,
that-
Sid Alpha.
Bare minimum.
That doorway is giving off all sorts of warp fuckery to you. Like basically, there is a natural aura of wrongness about this place, and it stems from that doorway with that guarding.
Really don't like that door.
What is wrong about this door?
You find the door offensive?
It's warp fuckery
Did
there.
it look at you funny?
In a manner of speaking, yes.
Well,
The other winners have started to gather as well, waiting for the appointed time. Armelin approaches you, by the way, Pierre. When this is over, don't leave quickly. We should discuss next steps once we know what we get from this.
indeed. I still require transport.
Yes, and I'm still prepared to provide it, provided the foretelling doesn't steer me in some other substantial direction. I mean good to make good on my word.
I understand. I'm not one to get in someone else's business.
Damn it, Pierre! Why have you not wifed this woman yet?
Yep.
Working
What
on
I'm
it.
saying, man. One on each arm. Pendergast or melon. Boom. Nailed it.
At the appointed time, the guards start calling forth people one at a time to enter. So they'll call a group. They go up to the door. They open the door. They go inside. They close the door. They wait maybe 30 seconds, and then they call the next group forward.
Okay.
So, as you get called forward, so assuming all 4 of you are going in, is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Are we allowed to bring weapons?
So when you get to, so no one that you've gone there has been relieved of their weapons. When you get to the front, one of the guards turns to you and says, "You may see things inside the cell that may nerve you. Your weapons will serve you no benefit in there. If they make you feel better to carry them, you may. But you must keep your wits about you."
It's quite all right, my boy. I don't see anything.
I mean, Nero doesn't believe any of this bullshit. Everything he shot at has successfully died in history, so...
They just haven't shot long enough.
So, Sid, are Garth's eyes just like milky white, like normal, or
he wears a veil over his eyes, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Nero Lucas style.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you saw his eyes, they would be milky white.
Yeah, I'm listening to Pythos again, and their Astropath. His eyes are actually transparent. Like it's like glass orbs in his head. It's really weird. So sort of.
I think before we go in, Nero's gonna say to this guy, "You are ensuring the security of parties inside."
The physical security, yes. I can't protect what happens to your mind. That's up to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn to Garth and be like, "We really should have had that conversation earlier today," and then step through the door.
So they open the door.
You were the
On
one
the other
that
side,
decided not to do it. Yeah.
I was busy.
That's all I'm saying.
The other side is a long.
Threatening people.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Beyond the door is a long corridor. The corridor is like slightly canted, maybe about 10 degrees over to the right. So the building, the hallway is partly collapsed, so you're sort of walking on a slight angle. The floor and walls are decorated in alternating black and white porcelain, like a checker plate pattern, basically. And the whole place has that sort of sense of like that hospital style to it. It's got like an arched roof over the top of the hallway. On either side of the door, or either side of the hallway, are multiple sort of steel doors with like the sort of the visible body, like almost like a jail cell or mental asylum. And you can sort of hear screams and cries from either side of the hall through those doorways. At the far end of the hall is another wooden door like the one you've come in through, with a couple more guards standing there, and they beckon you forward. As you pass each of the doors, the screams and cries from within seem to sort of escalate in intensity, and this whole place feels very unnerving. Like you feel like you are stepping outside of reality almost. It's almost like when when a ship translates to the warp, you just have this sort of sinking feeling in your stomach that you've stepped somewhere unnatural and you're not where you were previously. They sort of hurry you towards the far door.
I've got a bad feeling about this, Lord Captain.
To be fair, you have a bad feeling about everything we do.
Been
true.
Growing as of late, perhaps leading to this moment.
Is this area also psychically suppressed like the other one?
No. It's in fact for Garth, you're seeing better than you've ever seen before. Like everything he gives off, sort of psychic energy as such. Like it's like this place is blazing in your mind's eye. Of all the you're so close to the warp. You're not in the warp, but you are so close to the edge. Like this, the veil between reality and the immaterium here is so thin.
In fact, he's blinded by just too much.
Take it in, then I'll actually mutter verbally, "There's power here."
Really? I was looking to recharge my las rifle.
Using psychic powers here, Garth, would be heavily dangerous. You could easily lose control here. So,
all right, time for some unfettered action.
The wheel of wild magic.
I link our minds unfetteredly. Okay. Through the far door. It leads into another chamber, which is so immense you can't see the roof or the far walls. It's just that and the chamber is unlit. Like the only light coming in is from the door you've stepped in through, and you can sort of see the other people that have already been let in standing around. So there's a few bits of light from them, like someone might have a plasma pistol that's giving a nice blue glow on their hip. or someone might be carrying.
I mean, I'm just gonna swap to my other gun with the Omniscience scope and just give a sweep.
Yeah. So, on looking into the scope, all you can see is just an expanse which goes out to infinity, beyond the range of what the scope can see, with nothing in it.
What about the door we came through?
The door, you can see the wall behind you, the door you came through. You can see there as well.
What are we standing on?
On a rock ground, and that rock ground you can see and into the distance, but you can't see a roof or
okay, so this is some real fucked up shit still, but we're not like floating in the infinite dangerous void.
No,
well, you are, but you're not.
Thanks.
Yes, but
Thanks
no.
for that.
It's that pirate meme, the yes and the no. I'm sorry.
Look, Nero. You think sometimes you think what it is, but it do.
The others are all bought in as well, and everyone looks pretty uncomfortable. Once everybody's in, it sounds like the door you come in through is locked from behind. You sort of hear that, and it's very much like just a mechanical, heavy clunk of a lock, more like a bar being placed in the door rather than a lock being worked like that. Mm-hmm. So you're also standing in this darkness when suddenly 7 voices all at once say, "Welcome," and suddenly, like, these candles, only probably about 10 feet from where you guys are standing, gutter into existence that weren't there when you prey-scoped before. And there are 7 ancient, wizened women in tattered robes standing there. Their eyes are all clearly cataracted. Their limbs are gnarled, nails long. They've got filth on their skin, and their skin is pocked by boils and warts. And they finish with, "To our sanctuary." Everyone sort of gives each other strange looks.
I mean, I'm gonna whisper to the machine spirit of my Omniscience scope and be like, "Don't fail me now."
Many have heard the call, yet how few shall reach the destination. You shall have what you were paid for. They all sort of join hands and raise their heads, looking up into the this unseen ceiling of the chamber, and close their eyes. And when they all speak, each one has like a different tone, different like pitch in their voice, but they always speak in perfect unison, almost like they're singing. And there's almost a musical quality to what they say. "We who are more than man, beyond the emperor and unknown to gods, shall speak. You who are born of flesh and beholden of dirt shall heed our words, and heed them well. We are that which stings the outstretched hand, the cry that defies love. We are known and unknown, standing before you, yet so far distant you may never reach us." And then suddenly they all look down at you, their eyes open completely jet black, their mouths open, and rather than seeing their teeth or the inside of their mouths, it's just this black void which suddenly expands into your perception, completely engulfing each of you. And you just feel this sort of cold dread as the physical world of sensation is ripped away from you. So this is a psychic power. If you wish, anyone that wishes to may attempt to resist this with a willpower -30 roll.
I mean,
would anyone like to resist?
Yeah, I mean, all Nero is hearing is we're better than the Emperor and we're fucking heretics. Unfortunately, my willpower is 35, so I'm gonna resist, but the odds of my success are very low.
I'm not gonna resist.
Yeah, I fail really badly. That's 7 degrees of failure.
Cyrax will look at it logically and be like, "Well, we've already gone this far. Let complete the task."
Okay.
No sense fighting against it. It's what we came here for.
It was about the same way. Here,
all right, so I'm the only one that's like, "Wow, this is some dank heresy. I'm gonna shoot these people as soon as I get the chance."
Okay,
everybody else is just like, "Oh yeah, we paid for this experience. Woo! Let's get on the roller coaster, guys."
Look, some people pay extra for that. You just gotta. It's like whatever you want.
So in your perceptions, this wailing, mournful sound starts to fill your ears, and you get the sensation like you are floating floating in liquid. But you realize that this liquid itself, like it's liquid pain, that you're surrounded by nightmares made manifest, and like your eyes try to make sense of the darkness, but all you can sort of occasionally see is leering faces or screaming mouths. You're pushed about by these eddies of despair, and slowly your vision starts to sort of give you this sense of this great ocean of roiling colors and terror and desolation, and you begin to suspect that you are looking onto the warp, basically, that you're effectively seeing the inside of the warp through what best your eyes can make of the chaos of it all. You feel yourself being pulled through this place, and as you're pulled, the route that you're traveling is like indelibly etched on your mind like a cipher. Like you feel that this knowledge is being pushed into your brain. You see a raging storm, an incandescent nebula, and you realize that you're now looking from the warp into the Koronus Expanse. This roiling storm in space that begins to recede and part, leaving an image in your mind of a glittering gemstones sitting against the blackness of space beyond. You get this driving sense in your mind that this gemstone is something that must be possessed, that it holds great power, that soon the Sea of Souls will sort of free it from its grasp, and that you sort of have this driving it. I have to have this. I need to have this. And then your vision fades, and you effectively feel reality crash in on you again, and you all sort of like wake with a start, lying on the floor of this dark chamber. No sign of the witches. Just this. You've got this warp route etched into each of your minds, where this gem would be.
I mean, Nero's going to be the first person to, and as he's standing up, just say, "This is fucking heresy."
Everyone can take one insanity point too.
Yes.
Not corruption?
Nope, just insanity.
Okay.
Does my armor of contempt prevent any of that?
I believe
Or is
it
that
reduces
just
corruption. Yeah.
Okay.
No, you still have to see the shrink like the rest of us.
Damn it.
That was interesting.
Yes.
Other groups are sort of like checking each other to make sure everyone is still okay.
I mean, Nero's not doing that. He's heading for the door immediately. His level of paranoia and rage has reached like maximum before murder begins.
So the door opens up directly to the outside, not to the hallway you walked through before.
Oh, lovely.
Nero needs to go to one of those places where you pay like $100 and they just give you a bunch of plates to just huck at stuff. You just get smash stuff.
I see why you said the door looked at you funny.
Garth did say there was warp. What was it used fuckery about?
Yes. Rather a lot of it, actually, and obviously you see why.
I would like to compare notes with the others and make sure that we all saw the same thing. Because you did say that it engaged. Well, you said the darkness engulfed each of us like individually. So
yeah. So none of you ever experienced connection to other people around you. You were always in your own vision, but you all shared the same thing.
okay. I just
Nero
want to make sure
has
there
nothing to
wasn't
say in
difference.
this regard. He's not sharing what he saw.
So we have a warp root implanted into our brains where this thing is located?
Yes.
Oh, that's lovely.
Well, you should be able to. I mean, Garth could probably communicate it to the navigator.
Yeah, I mean, you could look at a map and point on a map, basically.
Or do that too. Yeah.
Did it give a time base when it would be time to try to obtain said
just
gem?
location.
Just location, and you get the impression that that the location is currently cut off by a warp storm, but that the warp storm will eventually bait.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So we've got time.
So there's most likely going to be a race and a battle to be able to obtain this object.
It would be folly in order to chase this. This is chaos and heresy and damnation, and you have given away a piece of the Emperor's wisest soldiers to earn it. Every part of this quest is wrong. Allow the others to fight over the feckled shit of chaos. It would be madness to participate.
I'd say we discuss this later.
This is just Nero. Obviously, I, as a player, believe, well, that's the main story quest line. But Nero's like, everything I've ever done is telling me that this would be a bad idea.
Here's a question, James. Would I be able to use delude or compel to allow Nero to cut through the paranoia that he's been feeling?
I mean, even without the paranoia, he would still say the same thing, just probably with a little bit less insanity.
That's all I'm going for.
Yeah, I think he probably just needs time right now, and probably once again using powers even this close to the doorway, you feel is not that safe right now.
I don't feel like Nero's all that safe right now.
Charlebelle sort of standing nearby your group, looking to come over, but sort of like waiting for an indication that it's okay to approach, like you guys are not sort of having secret conversations.
Pierre, wave her over. We shall discuss this later, in more private.
Pierre, that was different.
That's a mild way to putting it, but yes.
I wanted to say I still feel that I should take you to your ship. I think that I don't yet know what to make of this. It feels almost like a fool's errand. I almost feel that those who rush in too quickly without understanding what they're looking for will only meet with disaster. I'd rather understand more about this region of space first. I don't know how you feel about it, but you're sort of beholden to requiring a ship anyway. But I will definitely take you to your ship.
I'm very grateful.
If you'll excuse me, I think I need to go and find somewhere to lie down.
I understand. I probably do as well.
She leaves. Oh, before you go, she says, "We'll speak to me in the morning. We'll make plans to make ways to get your ship."
Yes. And again, thank you.
She is gone now.
Are we leaving, Lord Captain?
As to say, we return to the state, rest and or discuss about the events we feel.
Okay.
I'm gonna come be Sister Miriam on the drive back and just be like, let's talk.
Okay, I'll be available when you get back here. So a short, awkward, silent drive back. We'll place you back at your estate in Footfall. So it's now a couple of hours after midnight. So it's a little bit quieter now. I mean, a lot of Footfall still operates normally, or at any time of the day or night, but it is a little bit quieter. So Miriam and Kios are both waiting for you in the hall of the estate when you enter.
Nero's gonna charge past both of them and just say, "Excellent sandwiches, Kiosk."
You're welcome, sir. Will there be anything else before I retire for the evening?
No.
Very good, sir. Wine? Wine, yes, sir. He goes and brings wine in, pours out several glasses, and hands them around.
Thank you, Kiosk. Much obliged.
So Miriam's sort of watching you all, and You all look a bit off color. What's happened?
It's been a
very
somewhat
warpy day.
interesting day, to say the least.
I take a second and I look down, and then I remember that you can't see any part of his flesh. I'm like, just confused. For a second, it's like, oh wait, yeah. Must be talking about the others.
Nero seemed to indicate this is something I could maybe help with.
I'll speak with you privately.
Ah, I see. Okay. Well, I'll be in my chambers if you need me then.
All right, Nero moves to go to her chambers before she does.
You do that thing where you gotta leave and you walk the same directions. There's just awkward silence.
I mean, he is pacing in the way that only a paranoid can.
I will, yeah. If he leaves, I will, like, once Nero's out of earshot, I will tap the captain and say, "At your leisure, I would like to talk to you in my quarters." And then I'm gonna fuck off to wherever I go.
Orders.
Yeah. Workshop, whatever, you know. I'm sure wherever he sets up is just covered in like tools because he doesn't sleep, so it's just that's what, like when he does maintenance and shit. So that's his relaxation, I guess.
So now it's just Cyrax and Pierre in the hall.
Oh, well, I'm
Garth.
headed off to mine.
Garth and Pierre.
Sorry, Garth and Pierre, sorry.
I just flopped down in a chair next to the fireplace with a glass of wine and just stare into it and swirl it a bit. Well, that was a day. Take a picture.
Yes.
I like to think that it probably hurt Garth the least because you stared into the warp more than anyone or the rest of us, so it's kind of just like day to day for you.
I'll ask real quick and feel free to deny the answer if you wish, but what is your thoughts on the whole situation? The vision,
I found it all quite fascinating, matter of fact. This gem, whatever it is, obviously is important, otherwise they wouldn't be sending out so many powerful people such as yourself and the others to go about and fetch it. It's apparently caught in the warp storm right now, but not for much longer. That means that we need to get a move on. We need to consolidate power, gain influence, gain ships and resources. Because if we're going to be going after this thing, whatever in the hell it is,
I think the other
guarantee you
thing
there's
we
going
need
to
to
be
do.
a fight at the end of this.
I think the other thing we need to do is to
Eliminate Nero. He's too much of a risk.
I think we need to research as much as we can upon this gem to see what it is, what it does, and what it can do.
Indeed.
So there's more significance to this gem than what simple vision can provide.
Obviously, it's some form of lost artifact. Of what and for what purpose it is, I couldn't even begin to fathom at the moment.
For now, we do need to get to the ship as step number 1. 2 would be rebuilt, and 3 is to do whatever the hell comes next. We'll see you in the
I
morrow.
find it
Garth.
rather interesting that so many people seem to be attempting to aid you from behind the scenes.
It is quite alarming.
Setting you up for success, or are they setting you up for failure?
Are they setting me up to not look into things that I shouldn't?
Or to use you as a puppet to look into things that they want you to look into? See, that's the difficulty with whataboutisms. We could do this all day and be no closer to the truth.
I feel as though answers will be appearing sooner for later.
Perhaps we should go speak to the person who gifted you that vambrace.
That was going to be my one task after meeting with Charlabelle. We'll see if it's even possible to get a hold of him. But for now, I need to see what Cyrax wishes to speak about.
All right. Let's do Nero and Miriam first then, when you go to see Cyrax.
Yep. That sounds
So
fun.
Nero, you enter Miriam's chambers. She sort of sits down and once again offers you the stool. What is on your mind, Nero?
Must choose my words carefully. I have seen things tonight. I believe that I have looked directly into the warp, and that it has tested my soul. I don't wish to complain overly much because it is my duty, but of late I have been called to do things and to witness things and to investigate things for which I was not prepared or trained to do. And I am surrounded on all sides by those who hide their intentions. There is more going on here than is being said. And more importantly, I feel that this crew is drifting further from the Emperor's light. I seek solace.
Very well. Well, there is much to unpack there. Let me start with the simplest thing. You have not looked directly onto the warp.
No, I'm fairly certain that I have. I'm very, very sure.
You may have looked upon how your mind has interpreted an element, but the unfettered warp would unmake you instantly.
I'm pretty strong.
Very well. Keep that to your own belief then, but I can assure you that I see nothing outwardly on you that would indicate that your body has been corrupted.
Very well. I will trust in what you say.
In which case we need to attend to your mind and to your soul. You are a man who doesn't trust people, but potentially trusts himself a little too much.
I want to be clear, Nero thinks this is rich coming from her, but...
As I say, not as I do.
Yeah. I think that it is true that you are facing more tests than you've been prepared for. I have heard that, and I mentioned to you before that Pendergast, the Inquisitor, is someone which I've conversed in the past. She believes that you will face many tests, and that that surviving those it's important for you, not only important for you, but important for us. I don't know that I can necessarily calm your nerves that these things won't continue to happen. But I do know that you and the crew of the Hand of Calixis are on a path right now that will invariably at some point have its conclusion. And we, when I say we, I'm talking about myself and the organization that I work for.
The Inquisition.
Well, the ecclesiarchy in this case. We
Nero
need
gives
to
her
know...
a flat look, like, yeah, okay, the Inquisition.
We need to know what the destination is.
The destination of what, exactly?
Your current path. Let me
I feel uncomfortable with so many people taking such a close interest in me.
This is not necessarily about you. This is you and your allies right now.
What happened to the us you just spoke about moments ago?
I'm not talking about you and I. I'm talking about me and...
Yes, I'm talking about the crew, and yet you speak in third person in regards to it.
So, I don't consider myself a part of your crew unless... I mean, I could be called back at any moment, and I have a very specific job to do.
I see.
Nero, I can tell you more about what you want to know, but these once again, these things that revelation doesn't give you solace. Revelation only gives you more questions. So you need to decide whether you are walking a path or whether you are examining it.
What does give solace?
Well, trust in this case probably, but that's probably the hardest thing for you right now.
He's gonna just stand up and say, "Thank you."
Very well. Have a pleasant evening.
I hope your evening excels in pleasantry compared to mine.
Hope you find solace at least in sleep.
I need to speak with someone before I go to sleep. Have a good evening.
Right. She bids you adieu. Pierre enters the chambers of Cyrax.
So Cyrax is doing maintenance on stuff, so he very rarely takes his face mask off, but he's currently working on it. So his voice is actually being projected through the servo skull, which might be odd for Pierre, but it's happening. So you'll hear his his normal voice, kind of like with the mind link, rather than the voice box in the mask. Captain, I have a concern about our biological weapons platform.
Biological weapons platform.
I mean, that's not wrong, right?
Nero has never been prouder.
I'm going to make an assumption that you're speaking about Nero.
Your assumption would be correct. We are barely into this venture, and yet he seems to be showing signs of paranoia and possible mental fatigue. It's something that you and I are experienced enough, or at least I like to think that we are, that we know that the ends often justify the means. You and I have the authority to do that, to make these decisions. Mine coming from Holy Riser, and yours coming from your Warrant of Trade. Things are going to get worse before they get better, and I don't have the strongest confidence in Nero's ability to handle it. It's something we should keep an eye on. And as the voice is coming from the servo skull, he's just sitting there working. So there's like welding sparks popping off and like stuff getting flung behind him and just bits coming in, whatever. Like, so you're essentially having a conversation with a floating skull, which is fine. But I would like to hear your thoughts on the matter.
The situation with the Van Brace is very much of a conflict.
Well, I think the value of the Van Brace is overstated. Yes, it should have been returned to the chapter, but I'm sure that a single Van Brace is not going to cause an entire chapter of the Adeptus Astartes to come down on us like the hammer of the Omniscion. I'm just concerned that things are going to get worse before they get better, and I want to make sure that we are all on the same page of... That's what I'm looking for. We all need to be able to handle it, and my confidence in Nero's ability to handle it is shaken, at the least.
Yes. It'll be something that I'll have to think about in the future.
I just felt I should voice my concerns with you, seeing as you're in charge of our little, retinue here.
Yes. I understand your concerns. But now I watch warily. Hopefully things will reach a normalcy as we get to the ship.
if Cyrax had the capability of like laughing, he would. So it's just like this weird, like raspy voice, like noise. Yeah, because he can't actually like laugh. But yeah,
Just a blast of white noise.
yeah. It's funny in the books listening to them always trying to describe how people who don't have biological ability to speak laughing, like it's always some weird mechanical noise that people are like, oh, that's what he makes that noise when he laughs. But yeah, that's pretty much all he has to say. It's like, that's all. I just wanted to share those concerns. I have much work to do if you'll excuse me.
Indeed.
So
Pierre.
Skull floats back to go assist with whatever.
Yeah. Pierre will leave.
I'd like to talk to Kiosk before the night's
Okay.
done.
No worries. He's sort of walking around the place, just literally like turning off lamps and preparing everything for the night cycle, basically. He's already wearing like a dressing gown.
Master Kiosk,
Master Nero, yes.
you maintain the librarium here.
Such as it was, yes.
I am looking for any books which fulfill the following descriptions. And I'm going to hand him a list that says something like anything involving tome, keywords, tome, Adeptus Astartes, Legions Astartes, the Book of Faith, any sort of litany of devotion, etc., etc. He's looking for Space Marine, spiritual guidance.
Okay. I have this. When do you need this?
No.
Very good, sir. He wanders off to the library to deal with that.
It feels a little bad, but it's a stone's shot. So he sits down with the heavy bolter across his legs.
Yeah. He brings you out a batch of books. So what the library doesn't include here is books that are written for Astartes. They're books written about Astartes.
All right. He doesn't care about any of this shit then.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of them just sort of really, talk about the relevance of the Emperor's angels, that sort of thing. They're devotional, but they're devotional of humans worshipping, the sons of the God Emperor, basically.
Yeah, I feel like Nero's already read all of these.
Okay, yeah. So he
This is
hasn't got
done. No, thank you, Regil. My apologies.
nothing in this collection that would be by Astartes for Astartes.
I'll have to drop by the market if the Game Master allows me to make a second acquisitions roll. Have a good night.
He nods and leaves.
Nero leaves, goes to sleep.
Right. Everybody happy to bed down for the night?
Or are we gonna get some chaos warp fuckery in the middle of the night that I need to kill?
Everybody else falls asleep, but like underneath Cyrax's door, you just see like flashes of like welding sparks. It's the A-Team montage is pretty much what's going on.
I mean, you all can't help but sort of have dreams influenced by the vision as well. So it's not the vision being extended. It's simply just your brain making sense of the sensory data you received that day. Probably what I think most of you will sort of eventually come in your mind's eye to the concept that the gem you saw is probably more likely a world, like a planet in a warp storm.
Yeah, and Nero already had that thought.
Yeah, and the gem is just a symbol of value, basically. Yeah. So morning comes uncontested.
Nero was not present at breakfast.
Idly is walking around, handing out recaps and doing breakfast.
No, he only does the recaps at the beginning of the episode. No, Nero's not present at breakfast. He's already left.
Oh, he said recap, not recap.
Oh, recap. My bad.
Coffee.
That's odd. It's not normally night like him to miss bacon.
I take a cup of coffee and dip the mechadendroid in it, and it just gets sucked up through the thing.
Oh yes, Master Nero left before dawn.
Alone?
Did he state his business?
No, he took his weapons though.
He takes his weapons everywhere. This is not a surprise.
He was asking after books.
What sort of books?
Heretical books. I'm turning to chaos, baby.
Regarding the Emperor's Astartes.
Did you see Cyrus? Shame.
Interesting. Thank you, Kiosk.
gonna reach out and try and mind link with Nero.
I'm not sure the range of mind link is. I feel like it's slightly shorter than that.
It might depend on his power, because I know you could do it over long distances if you're.
I have Mind's
powerful
Eye,
enough.
which will give me 22 kilometers.
Okay, no worries. Okay, then yes. So he is within 22 kilometers. Give me a willpower minus 15 roll.
You have connected with him before, so you kind of know his psychic.
Oh no, it's not the minus 20. Sorry, it doesn't mean better. So it's willpower plus 5. Sorry, power plus 5.
Oh, a little bit of success.
Yeah, you make it.
Yeah.
Success.
Okay.
Success.
So wherever Nero is,
You just hear a voice enter your brain. Nero, are you
I get-
safe?
I get no defensive against this.
No, if you want to, you can resist it. That's fine.
And I can do that at any time, not just when he starts the power.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm not going to immediately cut the line and say,
Yeah.
This is Nero. Yes, who's speaking?
This is Garth. Just
Oh,
checking
Garth.
in. You seem to be missing bacon. That's
I have
very
missed
unlike you.
dozens and thousands of breakfasts before, Garth. I think that your
Not
assumption
that
of-
I've ever seen.
As he says that, you just see Cyrax like feeding a piece of bacon under his mask, like you would a dollar bill into a vending machine. It's just gone. It's just like, because remember he's got the thing because he can't choose. It just gets augured up. It's like a wood chipper.
Garth, you have known me for less than 5 weeks.
Oh man.
Our interactions have been minimal during most of the transit.
Just making sure that you're not doing anything dangerous or
I am
foolish.
acquiring research material.
Very well. I would request that you keep this link open in case you run into any danger.
If I run into
Wise
any
to go off,
danger,
on your lonesome with all these other rogue traders about.
if I run into any danger, you'll know via the explosions, but very well.
Thank you. I don't say anything else to him. I
Yeah,
just
Nero's
go
going
back
to close his mind off. He's not cutting the link, but he's also not saying anything down the line.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
you only talk over
Yeah, I
it
put
when
you on mute.
choose to.
You have
so-
to consciously choose to send a message.
Yeah.
Judging from the look on your
Sure,
face.
safety reason there, making sure that instant like, oh god, I'm fucked. Yeah.
Do you, when you use your powers, do you have some sort of like, I don't know, I want to say
Warp
facial expression?
fuckery!
Or like, it's like you see somebody staring off into the distance. Like, what does your face look like when you just talk on somebody like that?
That's basically, because he's blind and he always tends to
Mhm.
act like he can't see anything, even though he actually can. So it's kind of, the blind person face always tends to be
Yeah, that's right.
downcast. So whenever I'm doing something, my head just kind of drops down. But
Yeah.
I could just be eating too, because this is breakfast time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to find the passage from Pythos where it talks to, there's an Astropath too. It talks about how she sees in the, like, she just gets hints from the warp to tell her, oh, there's something right there, step to the right or whatever. It's a really interesting passage. I'll have to write it down for you. It's kind of cool. But okay. I just didn't know if you, I keep forgetting that you're physically blind. So.
So, AP, while you're out there, could you give me an awareness plus 10 roll as well?
Great. As you know, awareness is a thing I invested heavily in. I will spend a fate point to re-roll because I haven't done that yet. Nope.
Oh, okay.
Better,
that's
but
fine.
no.
Okay.
A 90 is, oh, damn.
All right. So those of you that are at breakfast, any other
Mimosas.
discussions or plans?
I guess I'll just.
I know I need to go see.
Bell, Armelin.
Yeah, I was completely blanking on her name. I said it multiple times.
Should go
tonight.
see a man about a
Carla
van
Bell.
race.
Yes, I need to see if I can set up a meeting with him as well.
Would you like us to attend you, or would you prefer to do it alone?
The meeting with him? Yes, it's fine. Darla Bell, I think I'll be fine by myself.
Said a man who is abducted.
Says a man who's not all right by himself by falling right into employees.
I'm sorry. I just keep thinking of that scene of Transformers. Pheromone levels indicates he wants to mate with the female.
This is both the best and worst outcome that Nero could have thought of.
Okay, so Nero, you've been out and you're going shopping, I believe.
Yeah, I'm going to bookstores and then like ancient artifact stores looking for Space Marine literature written for Space Marines to help them deal with the fact that they're murderous death angels.
Okay.
And the fact that they see heretical chaos warp shit all the time.
Alright, so I'm going to call that rare.
Sure.
And so if you want to acquire something like that, would be a total of rares minus 10 plus 30 for only wanting 1. So that'd be a 59% roll.
Would you like to make a commerce roll?
No, I prefer to succeed rather than
Is
fail.
the commerce roll optional?
It's optional, but failing it can also give you less profit factor.
Right.
So.
Nope, I fail.
This is one success.
I know, I put it in the wrong direction.
Oh.
Yeah, so largely what you find once again is books that are, about Space Marines by non-Space Marines.
Wow. Look, I don't want to come off as Nero being like insane now. He did hit an insanity checkpoint and he's still 24 hours left into the extremely jumpy. So I feel like it's not like he's just like, I shoot up the store. But everywhere he goes, there is that aura of murder that normally only comes around him right before he's murdering. And maybe there's
So
a couple
like...
hard fist pounding on the counters like, this is not what I want, shopkeeper.
So I feel like at some point after Pierre's left, you get someone that approach him saying, "Oh, Lord Captain, your Arch-Militant is frightening people in the markets. Could you possibly, he hasn't hurt anybody, but we have concerns. Could you come and collect him, please?"
Yes, I can come collect him.
We have the arbiters. No, look, he's fine. And Nero's just like losing his. He's fine. Like he's fine.
Boys will be boys. So, Charlotte Bell's happy to. Do you want to leave today or tomorrow?
Say that again.
Do you want to leave
Did you want to leave today or tomorrow?
I'd say tomorrow.
Okay.
Because I'd like to speak with the gentleman who, if I can, who gave me the fan brace.
Okay. So anybody that's going out into the streets below can give me an awareness plus 10 roll. Other than Nero, who's already failed it.
Excellent. Plus 10?
Yep.
I will fate point that. I still fail that. I don't know if I can fate again, because that'd be my last.
I believe I technically succeeded.
You did, yep.
Succeeded.
Okay, so as you were walking through the streets on the way to somewhere, Cyrax and Garth both overhear people talking, nearby, and you sort of pick up the words saying, "That's right, Eldar here in the Furibunda system, and they attacked one of the rogue trader vessels." That's what they're saying.
I'm gonna poke one of the civilians on the shoulder that are talking about. Excuse me, do you know which ship was attacked?
I believe it was the ship of Janko Scourge. There was some Eldar hiding in the system, and shortly after we left Footfall this morning, he was attacked. I didn't hear that his ship was destroyed, but he hasn't returned to Footfall, so.
Interesting. Thank you very much.
And nod and move on. So his ship is the Hammer of
Scourge was
Truth.
attacked by Eldari. That's new. We should probably not tell Nero about the Eldari. I feel he's paranoid enough about everything as it is.
We've already encountered Kroot, so I'm not surprised that they're all there in the thing.
Certainly it's bold though to be attacking them in the Furibunda system where Footfall is based.
Yeah.
So, Hondo, give me an inquiry plus 20 roll. To try and find where to reach this person.
Excellent. Inquiry. Thank you. You roll? Okay.
Yes. Okay, so through some inquiries, you do find out that what's the name again? Atar Soliket is actually a she. She is a similar to the Seven Witches she's based. She's a psyker who is sort of works out of the lower decks of or lower sections of Footfall. She's more accessible than the Seven Witches are. She almost has like a bit of a group of disciples that not so much worship her, but she's not viewed as a heretic or as a witch. Like the Seven Witches are definitely considered to be rogue psychers, whereas Atar Soliket is more of the sort of person you would go to grease her palm with money for a view of the future sort of thing. But you're able to get directions to where she runs her business from.
Okay. So not a sanctioned psyker, but kind of.
You're not sure, maybe.
Okay.
Some of the rumors that you've heard, maybe she might have been a sanctioned psyker that no longer does what she was doing.
I will, I guess, go ahead to talk to her if we still have time.
Okay. Do you want to gather Nero first, or this without Nero?
Yes, I need to collect my mentally disturbed gunman.
Mentally disturbed is extremely strong. Nero is blowing off steam by
Unstable biological weapons platform.
look, my stability in regards to my biological weapons platforming again is very solid. He is sitting on the roof of the golf cart with the barrel of the Hellgun between his knees, using the Omnisight to scan all of the passerbys in the marketplace and double checking them against his list of known criminal bounties.
So how much insanity do you have?
15.
Okay, so you are considered unsettled is the term that it uses. Disturbed is not till 40.
The thing is, Nero naturally is already kind of bodyguardish, but this has taken him to the next level. Plus, there's some weird shit going on. Disturbed. Okay, anyway, he's just checking people out. Just Garrus from Mass Effect 3ing everybody on the Citadel, making sure that he doesn't need to turn any of them in for serious crimes against the Imperium. Lord
So
Captain?
you probably already busted a couple of people this morning doing, that were actually needed to be arrested and handed over to somebody. It's probably made you feel a bit better. You picked up a couple of low life scum and deposited them onto the local forces.
I mean, I of course accept the payment, but what's more important is telling everybody that I'm near the blade and that I'm from the Hand of Calixis and that these criminals were put away for the good of the Empire.
Yep.
So he's sitting, I will say he's sitting like a crazy person on top of his own golf cart, providing a stable mount for his weapon, and he says, "Lord Captain, is something wrong, Lord Captain? You appear to be in a jovial mood."
I'm just taking in the sight.
This marketplace is full of criminals.
Yes, and I heard you're scaring them a little bit.
The fear of the Emperor in one's heart should be there if one is an enemy of the
Most people tend to
Imperium.
not enjoy having a rifle pointed at them for no reason.
I haven't shot anyone yet.
Well,
Today.
Nero, you may not miss very many shots, but you certainly did miss the point.
So he's gonna sheath his rifle and then hop down and say, If you're here, I assume you need to go somewhere.
Indeed, I also was told to come pick you up.
By whom exactly?
Wasn't it Kiasa told me that I need to
The
get him?
local authorities.
Yeah, it's just some local authority. That's it. Just
Okay,
somebody,
local
one of the
authorities.
shopkeepers complained.
Yeah.
I mean, so Nero's gonna, like, do the gunslinger finger roll on the hilt of his gun that he's got Ghostbuster style and say, I see. There are some who are concerned when I execute the Emperor's justice and duties.
I believe you're scaring away their clientele.
Okay. Then he just sits down in the cart and starts the engine.
I produce a Tupperware container and just hand it to Nero without saying anything.
I mean, he consumes it in the same way Cyrax does, but with a human mouth.
You're just like a vacuum cleaner. I actually have like a mechanical, like I have a thing. You're like I was as a child. I get done eating before some people would even sit down at the table.
So Nero starts driving, and then he says, Lord Captain, where are we going?
The most important thing is, did you wipe your hands before touching the steering wheel?
He's got a stack of those Lysol wipes nearby. So
he's wet wipes.
So he's driving left-handed, and when he's done eating with his right hand, he wipes down the steering wheel and his hand, and then continues to be...
Good man. Good man.
All right. So you guys follow these directions down into the lower parts of Footfall again. It's a slum like in before, but this one's a well-populated slum. So there's actually like mini markets down here as well, and soup kitchen equivalent sort of things as well. And you find yourself basically to a dilapidated church. You know, would have once been part of like the early sort of colony on Footfall that's now been partly collapsed. But you know, effort has been made to restore the building as much as possible. There are, you know, young priests or young sort of, you know, kids effectively acting once again as like altar boys or altar girls, going about cleaning, you know, handing out food to people that need it. But this apparently is the demons of Soliket. So as you pull up, you know, a young girl approaches you. Welcome to the Hall of Listeners. Can we be of any assistance?
I just looked to Pierre.
Under, you're muted.
I'm muted?
You were.
You were.
That's interesting. It didn't show that I was muted.
They didn't show you mute on, but I didn't see you talking either. So
It's just my device. Yes, there's someone I wish to speak with inside.
you're most welcome.
Thank you.
So inside, it's laid out like a church. There's a nave. There's a precepts. There is a priest, probably in his maybe early 30s. Sort of seeing to the congregation of younger people, of poorer people here. He approaches you. Welcome, sir. You look to not be among my usual flock.
I am indeed not. I come here for different business. I wish to see or speak to the soothsayer.
Yes, I gathered that may be why you came. She has no one with her right now, so you're welcome. Please come in.
Thank you.
And he leads you to like the back part beyond the sort of the main part of the church into I guess the what's it called, the receptory or whatever it is, where the priest would normally live. And yeah, it's sort of laid out like a sort of a shanty sort of hovel living in the back of this the class part of the back of this church. There's all sorts of bric-a-brac around this room, like bits like Empress Tarot cards and cast bones and plucked carcasses of birds, that sort of stuff, all manner of sort of prognostication equipment, basically. And there is a woman probably in her 60s, grey hair, wide-eyed. You recognise straight away, Garth, that she has the symbol of the Astronomicon tattooed on her forehead. So your guess is that she was probably an astropath. But she looks up with sightless eyes when you come in. Ah, welcome. You are the rogue trader Cowles, yes?
Yes.
Did you receive the gift, and did it serve its purpose?
Did receive the gift, and I can only guess what purpose it was meant to be for.
How can I assist you today?
I was mostly wondering why you send me such a prized possession.
I had no value. I saw no value in it for myself. It was given to me to give to you.
Given to you by whom, if I may be so bold?
Yes.
A man, I believe he may have even been one of the Emperor's own Astartes, although he came here not in armor. He was robed, but he stood at least 7 feet tall. He gave it to me and told me to bring it to you once you arrived.
Did he give a name?
He didn't, no.
Do you have any picked footage?
I mean, we have there are no picked thieves in this church. You may find some in the streets outside, but it was so long ago.
About how long ago was this, if I may ask?
Almost 6 years now.
6 years? You've been waiting
Yes.
Have
that
that
long?
here for that long?
He dropped it here and told me that someone would come and tell me that you had arrived, and when they did, that I was to have it sent to you. I had sort of forgotten about it until the woman arrived recently to ask me to bring it to you.
I admire your
Which woman?
dedication.
A sister of the ecclesiarchy. She basically describes Miriam.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed.
Is there... And she gave you my name personally?
She told me that you had arrived. Well, the man, the space marine, I guess, gave me your name 6 years ago. She simply came to me yesterday morning and told me that the time had come for the gift to be presented, and so I sent one of the children here to take it to you at the City Imperial. Yes, that's where she said you would be.
Was she here with the Astartes when he first gave you the...
No.
Interesting. Did the Astartes give you my name when he came?
Yes. Lord Captain Pierre Cowles. That's what he said.
Interesting. Well, I thank you for this information.
Right, she sort of pushes, like surreptitiously pushes a little pewter plate in your direction.
Okay.
Like rattles it.
Like for... I'm guessing for like a...
I'll drop
Just
some
kind
throw-
of shoulder nudge him, like put some money on the plate.
As I'm guessing for like a offering plate.
Well, like
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
you never see him actually take it out, but he throws a couple of thrown gelt in the thing.
All right. She withdraws the plate.
He'll also throw some thrown gelt in there. I don't know how much he carries on his person at a time.
All right.
Yeah.
You're probably like
I'm
like
guessing
Black
more
Rabbit,
than
like Black
a-
Rabbit in Battletech. You just throw some scenes on some money at things.
A more than reasonable amount than someone should.
5 million? Is that enough?
I've got no money, but I've got the deed to this planet. Here you go.
I've got 20,000 thrown gelt on me. Is that enough? Again, thank you for your time and the information you've given me.
Emperor protect you, Lord
Yes.
Captain.
And
Even though she can't see it, I'll make the sign of the Cog Mechanicus and give her a slight bow.
I mean, if she's an astropath, you have to assume she's sighted like the same way that Garth is.
And I,
There is no greater glory than a lifetime of dutiful service.
and then I'll leave. Because that's how he ends conversations, by just fucking off.
I believe we should have a little chat with our friend Miriam.
Yes, I have
Correct.
many questions.
So what's Nero
I
doing
don't
while this?
enjoy. It's being led around by the nose.
I want you to imagine, I know it's hard to do so, but imagine Nero is threatening shopkeepers to see if they have any, what were they called, pick thieves?
Yeah.
Yeah, pick thieves is a camera,
Or
basically.
servitors or something like that.
That had footage from 7 years
Just,
ago.
just to be clear,
He left before that.
before that,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it hasn't occurred to him. But my plan, not his plan, is to use the mind link to Garth to catch up on what's happened. If you find someone acceptable.
Yeah. So you probably, at this time, you probably gathered like 2 or 3 like little data cards that have been downloaded from people's pick thieves in their shops. But nothing, you won't know it yet. But
Only the
obviously
past
nothing goes
30
back 6 years.
days.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
it like
it's
overwrites itself every month or whatever.
Yeah, I'm going to have a quick conversation with Garth that we don't need to have
Yeah.
on camera, and then just snap these in half and throw them in a trash can.
Okay.
I meet everybody outside, but I'm like super upset about this. Lord Captain, if what I heard from Garth is correct, 6 years before your mother's death, and before you rose to the rank of Lord Captain, someone predicted this turn of events.
Does it make you feel better, Nero, that the Astartes voluntarily gave up that Vembrace?
The words of an astropath have weight to them, but it is not confirmation.
Prediction may not be the answer. More of set things into motion.
Well, you know what they say, too. Possession is 9/10 of the law.
No one says that.
It's not what you know, it's what you can prove in court.
I do believe
No one
that
says
we-
that either.
You've never been to a Forge World.
This is the Imperium. Innocence is no defense.
I do believe we have several questions that we need to ask our
Oh,
Miriam.
a great many.
Perhaps. Lord Captain, I would caution again, strongly caution you against following this path that fate has laid out for you. Uncomfortable series of events seem to conspire to push you in a particular direction from which there can only be violence, death, and heresy. And as he says that, he starts the car.
While this gym situation is certainly perturbatory, my primary concern is getting us to your ship and recovering the other.
I will let on that much that I want to recover. I want something to do with that other ship. That's all we'll say about it.
Yes, we'll ask Miriam what answers she will ask questions, and we'll get whatever answers she feels like or can give us.
Well, she does.
You should know that Miriam does not consider herself a member of this crew.
Good. It'll make it all the easier.
And you should know that she has busied herself with duties beyond what I have assigned her.
That's not a surprise.
Probably
considering what we've
How-
due to her not being part of our crew.
How does she describe herself as not being part of the crew?
By saying she's not part of the crew. It's pretty explicit.
Her duties are elsewhere.
To be fair, my loyalty is to the Adeptus Mechanicus first, and to you second, Captain, but you're well aware of that. 'Tis the way of things.
And he's never tried to hide that fact. It's pretty... It's an open secret, I guess, that any Magos would be more loyal to the Mechanicus first. That's just their thing.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, Captain, my first duty is to you. There you are.
And your wine cellar.
And your wine cellar, second.
Sometimes first, depending on the day. It's been a rough morning.
However, I believe we need to lay out a list of priorities. Obviously, getting your ship back should be the first.
Getting the ship will be first. Second will be finding a way to fill what crew that we need filled.
Well, we should go get whatever information we can from Miriam. I believe you still wanted to speak with Lady Armelin, and we needed to skedaddle.
Was Pierre there when we learned about Scourge being attacked by Eldar?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just sure. We should definitely we'll relay that to.
I think we already discussed with Armelum. It was just
sorry.
discussed when we wanted to leave, either today or tomorrow.
Okay.
Do you want me to let her know? I know who
What
she
are you all
is, so
talking about?
I can let her know right now.
One of the rogue traders, Scourge, I believe, left the station and was set upon by Eldar Corsairs, I would assume, but
Oh, we weren't gonna tell him that.
It's fine. I don't care. He's gonna find out one way. I'd rather tell him now than for him to find out later.
Why were you not
I'd rather
going
he
to tell
found
me?
out later after his insanity stuff went away.
So, I mean, yeah, like, Nero turns toward Garth while still driving, and it just says, why were you not going to tell me this? You don't think the location of someone who I am keeping close contact with is important? You think I just hate all... Well, I mean, I do generally hate all Xenos, but that's only because we're good Imperial citizens here, right?
Well, we're all
I mean,
alive.
obviously, we need to... You know, I'm sure there's an Imperium quote about killing Xenos or something that James can have it ready, and that's exactly what I said, but... you know, like, suffer not the mutant, something like that.
suffer not the heretic to live.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I don't hate them as much as I might hate something like, oh. You know, they're just a general concern out here.
You just hear from the back,
Tyranids.
What's that?
I'll explain later.
Yes, we do need to have a conversation later. Yeah, hi.
Let's just say
well, he wasn't born.
I had a face at one point in time.
I see. Lord Captain, before we leave, I must, once again, and I'm aware that we aren't leaving yet, but I must caution you again to move events forward on Port Wonder. You have a lot of repair supplies back there, and you need to make a decision as to whether we are traveling back there in order to repair the cruiser, or whether you are continuing the sale of them in order to purchase the Falchion class that you were originally supposed to captain.
We'll see.
Yes, I anticipated you would put it off once again. We're here at our destination, by the way.
Yes.
Alright, so this is back to the abode, back to the estate.
I thought we were going to
Yeah.
see Charlotte Bell.
I believe
We
We're
are.
gonna go and interrogate.
Yeah, I think we just clarified before. Like,
Okay.
for the sake of brevity, I just agreed that okay, Charlotte Bell's having to go today or tomorrow. So
All right.
Yeah, it was just that. We mainly want to now speak, but really interrogate Miriam. We have a lot of questions, and you'll answer as many as you possibly can.
all right, so you guys head in. Miriam is actually waiting in the main room of the estate when you come in, and she stands up when you come in and says, "Let's talk."
Sit
And that's
down,
where
Miriam.
that's where we'll leave it off today. Do our outros, and it's coming up midnight for you guys. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think just
That's
me.
nice. 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
it's 11. I'm
Just the
East
East
Coast.
Coasters.
Yeah.
8:45.
Yeah.
I think what Pondo, you're central, right?
Quarter to 2 in the afternoon for me, so
Yeah.
I can get going for hours. But
That's why. I mean, I won't go to sleep for another 8 hours anyway, James. That's why I message you at like 4 a.m. my time because I'm still up.
I have 3 questions. But first off is, when do our wounds heal?
okay, so
I took a fuck ton of wounds at the
It's-
dinner.
Yeah, that's right. So you can do a Medicaid check as well to speed it up.
Yeah, I'd rather not critically fail.
So did you take more than half your total wounds?
Yes.
Okay, so you heal at 1 damage per week naturally until you get back to half. Then it goes at 1 per day.
Okay. All right. So it's going to take me 2 weeks before I get that 1 per day thing. Fatigue.
Fatigue, basically, as soon as you can break, as soon as you can rest, that fatigue goes away.
Okay. And how much XP did we get?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Another 300.
I forgot. I have auto sanguine, so I always get counted as lightly wounded, and I heal 2 wounds a day. Even though I don't know if I took any, but gotta love cybernetics or whatever.
James, what you got?
Oh, thank you for playing, guys. Had a good time. Sort of, I've gone a little bit deeper than I originally planned to today, but that's all right because people, the dwarves have dug too deep. So if they reach the Balrog, that's their own problem.
Was not expecting the dwarf fortress, Reverend.
Yeah, I think it went really well. Once again, I didn't get through everything I had planned, but I find that's a better way to be, because I can just take my plans and move them forward to next session as well. So it's pretty easy. So we will 100%, unless you spend 4 hours talking to Miriam, we will 100% get to the ship next session. And so I will be officially turning over full control to you guys as to where you go and what you do. I've just tried to drop as many plot threads in your way. Yeah, very interesting. But yeah, so I am Grimdark James, the Grimdark Podcast, www.grimdarkpodcast.com. I'll be doing a new episode this week to talk about the new book that's been released, and we're also looking to land an interview with Zach Dal Cutterbuck, who is the producer of Wrath and Glory from Cubicle 7. So watch this space. Otherwise, I will be catching everybody once again next Saturday, I presume, for the next session of The Last Scion.
Okay. Pondo, what do you got?
I am Ponder, or Ponder the Mad. You can catch me on YouTube or Twitch /Ponder the Mad. Or you can catch me Thursday nights with Sid, where we are in Battletech. Or whenever it comes out, Board Game Cult, and maybe some point possibly getting back to Pokemon in the future. Who knows?
Probably not at this point. I feel like that one is in a coffin forever.
I might ask Lexi about it. We'll see.
Okay.
What was the other thing? Oh, and my own show for Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, which is Hunters of Ulvern, where it's a 5-week installment game. And that is with Atomic and Cotton and Smooth Mage. Yeah. About it.
Sid Alpha.
Yes, hello. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I do appreciate it. This is a lot of fun with all of the crazy warp fuckery, and thankfully, I still haven't become possessed, and Nero hasn't had to try and kill me yet. So, good day. Yeah, we'll be back on Thursday for some Battletech. In the meantime, I should be able to get 1, maybe 2 videos out on my channel this week, so keep an eye out there, youtube.com/SidAlpha, or you can follow me on Twitter at SidAlpha if you enjoy watching me troll people to irritate them on social media, because that's apparently a thing that I do. And occasionally I live stream with Rachel Messer when the mood strikes us, so keep an eye out on her Twitch channel for that. And also I do post the notifications when we go live there on my Twitter as well. That's all I've got.
Yeah, Atomic.
Sup? I'm Atomic. I'm Tom Warsmith from twitch.tv/Tom Warsmith. I do voices and get angry on the internet. Occasionally play games. I'm here on Wednesdays for New Game Plus, obviously, with all the fantastic bearded gentlemen. And then I'm here on Saturdays for Rogue Trader. And on Sundays, I'm over on Pondo's channel for our Gestalt 5e game. Hopefully, we could be getting back to streaming soon-ish, but we'll see, because fatigue sucks. But yeah, you can just catch me on all those places. How you doing, AP?
Well, I'm here. This is the thing. Everybody's good for next week?
Fuck yeah.
Yes.
I love this show. We're having people in chat were like, they love that there's just so much RP going on. So.
I don't know. I got to figure
so
out which way.
Quality RP too.
I gotta figure out which way Nero's gonna go. Like, standard Imperium is question nothing. Like, be suspicious, but question nothing, and you know, just kind of accept knowledge that comes your way. But he's like, it's my duty to do these things, which is at conflict with that. Very burning wheel. Plus, now I'm 100% convinced that Lord Captain Angelique Cowles was involved in some chaosy shit, based on conversations we've had. Not just Nero, but I personally am convinced that she was involved in some chaosy shit.
I wonder. Well, I've done chaos, like encountered chaosy shit. You've encountered chaosy shit. Has Pierre really come across a ton of it, or?
I think Pierre's lived his whole life on one planet with his
and
manservant.
obviously Garth has, because he's an astropath. But so I think Pierre's the only one that's not really been exposed to a lot of that. I think
all will be revealed in the fullness of time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it will be. He's gonna hit a wall at some point. We're gonna have to handle it. That'll be fun. I'm enjoying the show. It's pretty good. I've had cotton mouth all day, so then trying to do this fucking voice, this has been killing me. It's like, damn it. I was fine all week, and then early this morning, it's like it's just dry mouth, dry throat all day. I'm just like, what the fuck? So
It turned out Pierre is actually like the god spawn of Robut Guliman and Angelique.
God.
He's like, actually, I've been fighting for hundreds of years, and now I'm finally rising to my rogue trader god seat.
It's funny.
You fools, you all underestimated me. I am the king of the Winter Scale Expanse now. Yeah, any other theories or crazy shit about this episode people want to throw out there before we sign off?
Also, I mean, this is kind of just me. Just if you want to submit stuff for the crew, please make sure it's thought out and give them names, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, that's true.
Some that had no names. So if you want to have a chance at it going through, details and names.
That's Patreoners, just to be clear. But yeah.
Yeah. So.
But again, details and names, please.
Yes, please.
I know I said don't sign up for the high-ranking stuff because you're not likely to get it, but actually no one has submitted anything.
Well, the problem is because it's like, oh, well, somebody has to have already have done that. Is what I know.
Well, that's what I'm saying now, that no one has submitted for the tier 2 crank crew.
So we got a master at arms. We got a what else we got? We got the master of whispers. We got a chief bosun, an infernus master, a twist catcher, a master of vox, and a Kato artifacts.
Okay, so we're looking for that extra stuff. If you've already submitted, feel free to submit one more again. Don't flood us, but we're looking for some stuff, and we're painfully in need of a first officer.
Yeah. So as long as it's well done, it's all just. It's not something you have to do right now. You can put some thought into it, and then we'll get there.
Nero's younger brother, Gaius, shows up to be the first officer.
I mean, people have submitted a couple. There's a couple of them I really, really like that are like really well thought. It's like that's an interesting character right there. Like that's something you'd want to play in a game. Yeah.
I mean, I could also, what's interesting, I can see how some of the different characters can interact with each other as well. Like some of the characters were set up specifically to have relationships with other, like some said in their background, I want this character to work well with either this PC or with this other NPC.
Yeah. Well, it's like there was somebody who was like, Catachan, right? It's like, okay, well, I served for the Catachan, different regiment, but still like,
Yeah.
I've been like, So that whatever, but
can't wait for James to RP with himself for like 5 minutes.
Look, if anybody out of us could do it, it's gonna be fucking James.
What I will say is today, in preparation for this, the stuff with the witches, I actually pre-wrote that and then tried to get my wife to record it once and then modulate her voice 7 different ways and overlay it for an audio file. But I couldn't get it to where I was happy with it in the time frame I gave myself, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So.
Well, then you're gonna have a real surprise tomorrow in the latest episode of Oath of Venesteel, is all I'll say.
How much XP did we get, by the way?
300.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I must have missed that.
All right. If there's no other closing concerns,
Got nothing.
... Then we're out. Have a good night.